okay, the wake up call is I've got to actually go out and get people to pay me to do this. Your hygiene can be spectacular. You can be the best at what you do. If you can't get someone to pay you for it, it's worthless.
Welcome to Sales Assassins, the podcast that unveils the lost art of word-of-mouth marketing for professionals just like you. We cover everything from building relationships and nurturing connections to overcoming the challenges of modern marketing. You'll learn how to stand out in a crowded market, charge confidently for your services, and create an army of people recommending you without hesitation. Now, let's dive in and make you deadly effective at sales. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Sales Assassins podcast. Joe, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Ready to rock. Ready to kick this baby off.
Absolutely. So we wanted to do a quick, episode 0 kind of intro episode for you all today and really kind of answer the question, okay, why another podcast out there?
It's not enough.
Yeah. Why this one? Why all of it? And I think that's always, it's helpful for you, the audience, to know what the heck we're doing at all. But it also, I think, helps us clarify, make sure that we're clear and on that message. And, I reached out to Joe, honestly, to start this when I learned more about what he has going on in Sales Assassins, the program that he has. It just lent itself to a full-fledged show and, leading people to learn even more about the program. So, Joe, describe that a little bit for folks, what Sales Assassins, the program is, and why you said, you know what, hey, let's do this. Let's talk about this. Let's have this show.
Well, the Sales Assassin program, it's essentially, we created a platform on School. So those of you who probably don't know what that is, it's just a way for us to host a community, host a mastermind, do some coaching, put modules. I mean, it's a learning platform, thus the word school. And what we found was within our client base, there were a lot of people that we would consider be professional or professionals, and they had salespeople on their teams, but they didn't really have time or energy or really even the knowledge base to train their sales force on how to go out and get people to know, like, and trust them and not always revert back to the owner who was the chief marketer of their business. But they didn't really have the skill set or the mindset to go out and do that as a professional. So when we looked at the platform, yeah, that's important, but we were finding they just, they were going at it almost like a direct sales job. So it was, cold call everyone, go out and door knock. And those are all things I did as a young professional. And what I found over the last 25 years is there is a better way to connect with people if you're a service provider than to blast out a bunch of emails and everything that you would do cold. And I developed something over the last 20 years called Pillars. So I wanted a platform to teach that. And it really started with the salespeople of people already in our, what we would call the lion. You see that lion behind me. It was their people. And then we've started to grow that to other professionals, and we're taking it online. We're here doing a podcast to get bigger reach. I mean, my mission has become, I would like to teach the word of mouth marketing to every professional that's out there, because it's a lost art. I mean, if you, click on your phone, there's not a lot of people out there talking about how to go out and generate word of mouth. It's all ads and funnels and all these, podcasts and all these things. And those are great and necessary. We're doing one for reach. However, you have to have a foundation of being able to get people to know, like, and trust you. And quite frankly, if you try to build that online, you'll starve to death. We didn't even start to delve into any of this until we were making north of 7 figures. So, and I mean, currently we're working on meta ads. We're in day 25 of being banned. So if I'm new into sales, or I'm newer and I'm trying to grow my profession, which would be like an insurance agent, a financial advisor, CPA, attorney, real estate, where they have a skill that they're trying to go out and bring business in, then you have to have the ability to generate word of mouth, or you're not going to make it. And the odds are stacked. You look at the statistics in any service-based business, they're pretty low on success if you're newer. And even if you're mid-tier or restarting or whatever it is, they're often making $150,000 a year. If you can't learn to generate the word of mouth, you're going to be stuck there for a long time, because most people that consume products you can direct sell to, like that is consumed, right? But in a service, like if financial advisor or, insurance, whatever you're doing there, in coaching, that's experienced. So you can't go the direct sales route. I mean, you could, but that's kind of counterintuitive to being a consultative sales professional with a skill. So you actually become more of a repellent when you do that. I mean, have you ever gone to an event or, something and someone tries to start selling you something like
immediately? Right.
I just moved to Orange Beach, Alabama. There's 4,000 real estate agents here. I talk to a lot of real estate agents, and good for me because I can help them. But what I've noticed is they're kind of treating that in that direct manner versus, okay, I want to get to know, like, and trust each other. I want to find out what's really important to you, and then I can pivot and talk more business. So from a platform aspect, what it's allowing us to do, especially in the podcast form, to kind of bring that all back together, is it broadens our reach. We do it in a lot of ways, and we build it all on word of mouth. And now it's time to expand. And when you brought the idea up to me, quite frankly, I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know what it's going to do. And then I started, looking into, like, what do podcasts do? How many people watch? I mean, it's a whole nother avenue to reach people. And then we can bring them in and help them through what we're doing on our platform, so to speak. But even if they don't show up there, they're going to get a lot out of what we're doing here. And what I like about the podcast form is it's a conversation. And as we bring people in and do that, there's a feedback loop in it, that in content or in direct or whatever ads, it's a one-way street there. This is more, you can get in on the conversation. I think the appeal of podcasts is people feel like they're in on the conversation.
Yeah.
And it sinks in more, and they get more from that, so they can take that away. And then if they need help with implementation, they can go down the different roads. But that's really what, when you brought it up, I'm like, all right, let's do this. And our Lauren especially. So shout out to Lauren, the glue that keeps everything together.
That's right.
She's like, we have to do this. So here we are.
Nice. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really strong. And we're going to get into those, this aspect of word of mouth, which is at the foundation of Sales Assassins, of what you teach and how you're helping people in that. We're going to get into that into episodes and everything. But that was another aspect of this that I really loved, because that is not talked about enough. And it comes down to nurturing, building relationships, connecting with people. It's all those great things. And it falls into that category of, well, you get people to recommend you, like, as though there's no system to it or skill or anything. It's just like,
right.
Either people know you or they don't. And, and I think that's the bucket it's been in, word of mouth has been in. And so that's what I love, this idea of really getting down, because it gets down to human things and relationship things. And there's a system to it, and you can help people with. So I love that. I'm excited for it. Give people a little bit of background quickly on, your background got you into,
Sure.
Starting the Lion, and so they have a little bit of context there.
Well, I spent 20 plus years in financial services, and I started out like most people. I was actually insurance first. I went farm to farm. Then I went to a company for investments, Edward Jones, and went door to door and got recruited by, one of the big four, Merrill Lynch. Was an advisor there, built a team, had every job that you have on your way up as you ascend within that type of organization. Before I left there, I was a director, and that means you have, I had like 140 financial advisors that worked with us, 9 offices, 2 states, Illinois and Iowa. And in 2018, I started, kind of thinking I wanted to do something different. Unfortunately, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. I've got 5 little kids. So I kind of started exploring different avenues, and there were some, internal and external conflicts within what we were doing as an organization. And I got into 2019 and made the decision to just take a leap and go do what I really wanted to do, which was coaching and training. I started a coaching training business. I use the same process, and it's a people system, by the way, not a, I think people want systems, like they want to stamp out things in a factory and make a bunch of money, and that can happen. But it's really about like you said, the relationships with people and things like that. And I built a great, what I consider a great coaching business turn it into a mastermind. We call it the Lion. We meet 3 times a year. And from that, we derive Sales Assassins because I saw the need for our best clients to develop that. And, it's been one of those things that we believe we can do that at a larger scale with more leverage and reach more people. And our platform allows us to do that and maintain our integrity around results, because you have to be careful out there today. There's a lot of marketing and, people are divorced economically from your outcome. Good luck to you. We pride ourselves on, the only thing that matters to me is, do you hit your goals? Are you successful? And did this make a difference in your life? So we feel like sky's the limit. And that's something that, has got me here. And that's 5 years ago that I left. So yeah. Guys, in my mind, I feel like there's nothing in front of us that we can't handle, and we can grow exponentially. It's a great feeling, because as much as I poo-poo the internet, it's a helper.
Absolutely. No, it's great. And, for those wondering, I've got another show that I do. I had Joe on there a couple of times, and there was this connection. And, I talked to a lot of folks. There's a lot of great folks out there. It's wonderful when you sit across from somebody, they know their stuff inside and out, and there's a great combination with you, Joe. That's this. There is a, hey, I want to help folks and get better, and I have the skills to do that. And yeah, this is a business. This is a matter of fact. We're not sitting around, hugging. This is for business, and we're gonna, and there's a love and a fight and a everything in that, that's just strong. And hey, let's get to the point. Let's forget the nonsense and let's get to work and have fun.
We really, and I think people get, because there's so much free out there, you can free content, free everything. Nothing's free, and things that are free aren't always highly valued. So at the end of the day, if you're in business, you should be unapologetically profitable. And that doesn't mean to be greedy. It just means you're in, business is about making profit, and you help your client and you're rewarded for that. But you should never apologize for being successful or profitable. That's part of business. And I teach that. You get some people that don't have a lot of experience in there, and they almost have a guilt around charging for what they do. And it's like, hey, if you don't treat your time valuable, no one else will. So that's something we spend a lot of time on in the Assassins, especially, is I don't care how old you are, how long you've been doing it, you're valuable. And, own what you say and work hard and deliver for your clients, and that's earned compensation. So,
yeah, that's fantastic. So I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, why Sales Assassins? Why is the program named that?
This will date me. So I know I look young and vibrant on camera, but I may be older than you think. Back when I was in high school, there was a group called House of Pain. They're a rap group. I don't know if you've heard, you may or may not have heard Jump Around, but when they toured, it was called Soul Assassins. And it was Cypress Hill, House of Pain, and Funk Dubious. So for those of you that really enjoy old school rap, go out and check out Funk Dubious for sure. I know you know Cypress Hill, but I was a huge Soul Assassins fan, DJ Muggs, all that. And when I was thinking about naming this, I don't know what, I was in a phase on YouTube and I was listening to a lot of that old stuff, and Sales Assassins popped into my head because it was like Soul Assassins, Sales Assassins. I still probably have the t-shirt. I'm going to dig it out and wear it on one of our episodes from their tour. But when you think about sales, there are a couple of ways to go about it. So like a soldier in sales, like a sales warrior, you might see that stuff like that. I'm a warrior, soldier, whatever. That is a direct confrontation. So that mindset around sales is, I'm going to come at you and close you. I've heard people say I can close anybody. My thought on that is people should close themselves. Like if your hygiene's great, the product are great, and someone introduces you that they know, like, and trust, most of that sales conversation should be complete. However, most people attack it like a soldier, like a warrior. They go at it. There's a bravado to closing. And I get it. I've been there. I mean, like I said, I've been farm to farm and door to door. The farm to farm one's interesting because, and I tell the story anytime I get on camera or whatever, but there's a feeling when you step out of your vehicle and there's no one around and you see a dog, or there's an open, in their machine shed. You don't know what's coming out of there. So like there's a fear of like the unknown. So there's a skill set to not get separated from your truck. I learned that when I was 23. But anyway, that was more direct. Like, I'm going to jump out of the bushes. I'm going to come to you. I'm going to try to sell you something. And that's okay. However, as you climb up and your clients become more affluent, or they become, higher in earning, whatever it is, they're less likely to respond to like direct marketing. I would highly doubt, someone who's making $1 million or more is online buying a bunch of services. They're probably buying products because it's convenient. But the soldiers go at them. But the assassins are unseen. An assassin is deadly because you don't know what's coming. And if you can, without being manipulative, an assassin would get close to someone and then be able to help them, in my mind. And we talk about that, and I'm sure we will. It's like they can make that pivot to business seamlessly without being obnoxious and pushy. That's an assassin. And they can do it anywhere, anytime. So when I came up with it, it all came together, but that's what it is. It's like a soldier comes at you, an assassin doesn't. So that's a sales assassin. And those of us that provide services, I say this all the time, is like, you can't sell it. And if you try to sell it, it becomes like you're going to get this all the time because a service is experienced. And that way, if I'm great at my profession and I can get really great at getting the assassin part down, I am deadly then, because they get great experience in the the hygienical product, but they also have a great experience with me.
Yeah.
And that's how you become deadly. If you want an army of people out there talking about what you do, that's how you do it. And that's an assassin. So that's where that came from. And that's what we strive for. And that's what we like to teach.
I love it. I think this is enough to give people, that feeling like, okay, this is what this show, this is the meat, this is the juice, right? And it's going to be training around this, stories around this, interviews down the road with folks living and breathing this as well. Sort of the more, I think, real world examples we can show people that this isn't just theory, folks.
Right.
This is how you do it. It's going to be fantastic. I think we've lined out who this is for. It's for that person, especially who is they gotta sell themselves, and it's longer term. It isn't that like commodity. I'm just gonna I gotta sell this widget, but they've got either coaching, the financial services, it's those kind of folks, right?
One thing, especially when they're getting into it or they've left somewhere and started, like I see this a lot with coaches that leave, like I did, left corporate America. Yeah, there's a skill and you better be good at your profession. We call that hygiene, better be good. However, the majority of what you do is marketing. So if you name the profession and you could go to school for a long time to get it. You can get an MBA, a CFP. I was a CFP, actually. Am not any longer because I don't render financial advice. However, I spent time doing that. But like now it's okay. The wake up call is I've got to actually go out and get people to pay me to do this. You can be great. Your hygiene can be spectacular. You can be the best at what you do. If you can't get someone to pay you for it, it's worthless. So what we're trying to do is, that should be good. We'll spend some time there and we can help you improve those skill sets. However, the most important thing is, can you get out and get someone to know who you are, like what you do, trust you enough to give you an opportunity to help them. And that's, in its essence, when word of mouth works, it's that you've done that, and that person, whenever that problem or situation arises, they say, you need to go talk to Jason. Like, without thinking about it, like, you got to, so there's a whole, you could leave that to chance. You could. And I say, and speaking of Lauren, we have this conversation a lot. Anything you leave to chance comes back in the form of a problem and or an objection. So whatever you leave to chance, so I wouldn't leave those things as chance. I would get really good at getting people across that know, like, and trust bridge. And then most of the job is done on the sales side. If you get into a sales conversation, we'll talk about that later, how to navigate that. But most of the job's done on that part, knowing, liking, and trusting. And that's word of mouth.
Beautiful. All right. I think we've given people some good context here. If you're watching, you're listening, I encourage you to binge away here. If you're listening to this one, there's a couple more episodes out there right now. Jump into the next one, and we'll see you there. In a sea of endless digital noise, your ability to connect and generate authentic word of mouth is your deadliest weapon. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to break through to the next level, the principles we discuss here are your blueprint for success. It's all about being the most trusted and valued in your network. To maximize what you've learned today, visit joinsalesassassins.com to see how you can become a true sales assassin in your industry. Until next time, keep sharpening your skills, expanding your network, and remember, in the world of sales, the true assassins strike silently but effectively by doing what nobody sees coming, building genuine connections and powerful relationships. Stay deadly, stay authentic, and we'll see you on the next episode of Sales Assassins.
This show is powered by Media Leads. To get your next great podcast produced, go to MediaLeadsCo.com.